What is going on, everybody? It's good to be back. Monday.
Yeah.
Been a long time. Things are a little different here, as you guys can see. Things change sometimes, good or bad, or without your control. But I think it's for the good. We got a new crew in here. Niners coast to coast. Kind of makes sense, right? We got the West Coast guy and Brian Culp. We got the Midwestern fellow and David. And then you got the two East Coast guys and me and Ty. It's tiring, guys. It's training camps starts tomorrow, but I think practices are the day after. So you're going to get a lot of player interviews from the coaches and stuff. I'll get into my first question, but just how are you guys feeling about everything, man? Are you excited? You nervous? What's the vibe? Anybody can go first.
Excited. Football finally here. They're getting the band back together,
Right.
We can stop all the speculation and blah, 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 and actually watch them on the field. Even though it's just a practice field, we get to see them together again. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, the speculation gets thick in the offseason, doesn't it?
It gets tiresome.
I know. And then we hear about that one QB whose name I'm not going to mention getting an ankle injury. Might be cut by the Raiders. Oh, will he be? No, just stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop. But yeah, I'm so excited for this season. Training camp's just a couple days away.
Hey guys, I got it real quick. I got my own, I got somebody impersonating me as Mr. Midcard. Check it out. All right. Midcarding up. Sweet. Real quick, I want to say hello, Laura Cat. Thank you for coming through, Laura. I appreciate the support. Bashar, hello. Is there an echo in here? What's up, man? How you doing? And then, of course, we got my guys in here talking in the chat. This is exciting for many reasons. One, for the new group here. It's fresh. It's different. It's new ideas, new perspectives. But at the same time, it's the same stuff. It's Niner talk. So I was talking to you guys off stream. I was kind of giving you an overview of the topic. So I guess the first one, we'll get right into it, is 2023 make or break for the 49ers? I'm going to start with Bryant.
It's got to be every year. But we've been getting so close for the last couple of years. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of sick and tired of getting to, like the dance and not having a girl or, somebody to, enjoy it with, right? So, like get into the game or get into the championship game. No, we want to host the Lombardi, so this is, it's always Super Bowl or bust for me. But yeah, this year, I thought last year felt a little special. There were some things that was happening. There was like all this speculation but there was talks about movies and, breaking records and we having the best defense. And then now we might make a rookie of the year and just, a lot of different things. So for this year, that kind of has dialed down a little bit, but we still have a good core. So the same core is still pushing forward. And I really got a feeling that, I'm going to be honest. I'm not as excited, just yet because I haven't really seen, it get out there. Maybe I haven't smelt the seasons changing or whatnot. But yeah, this definitely has a vibe about this season. So it's make or break, most definitely. Oh, we got a couple of.
That's got to be Steve-O. Only he could change names that fast.
Hold up. If that's happening, that means I made it, right?
That's right.
There you go. You're big time now.
There's only one man that can rock the goatee the way David does. So,
yeah.
Anybody want to go? Dude, you got it, man. I can't. I quit. I don't do facial hair anymore. Anybody, either of you can go. Ty or David, you can expound upon any of that.
David, jump in there, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm with Bryant. Super Bowl or bust every year. That's just the 49er way, in my opinion. And is it make it or break it? It kind of depends on, a guy like Trent Williams. He's getting older. He might have 2 good seasons left in him. And as a football player ages, they go through the grind every offseason and they start thinking, do I really want to do this? And, we haven't heard that out of him yet. But at this point, yeah, I honestly think it's make or break for this team. even though our core players are signed, we got one guy to take care of, but our core players are signed, and this team's going to be together for the next 3+ seasons.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's make or break. I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to the whole Super Bowl window notion and that it has to happen now. Because as we've seen over the years, the way that John and Kyle has constructed the team, they built it for longevity. It's reminding us of the teams of the 80s and the 90s where we were in it every year. Right? Now it's just getting over that hump. And this team is still a very young team. Everybody on there is, 4th, 5th year guys at the most, except for Trent Williams. So it's just getting over that hump, and then you'll see them just continue to stay there. But we're in it. We're in the thick of it every year. So it's not a make or break year. It's just, where will we end up? Is this finally the year where we get over that hump?
I slightly disagree with you, but in a very polite way.
No, all good. All good.
I think windows do exist as far as the current construction of a team, where it's at its most optimum best. Like just the way this roster is. Defense is so good, offense is so powerful with all these different skill position players. And right now we have a cheap quarterback, so we can do a lot of things to kind of insulate that. Do I think, like, if we don't do it this year that it's over? No. I see another 2 to 3 years where I think we are in it. But you got to cash in eventually, because the team will change. Guys will retire. You can't keep certain people. They make too much. We might see Debo jettisoned in another year or so when he becomes too expensive, because we have to pay Ayuk, and we have Debo or Bosa's money kicking in down the road. It's I do agree that the Niners have the ability, at least this current construction of front office and coach, to always put a team on the field for the most part who's going to be competitive. That's going to be in it. You know what I mean? They're not just going to scrape around to get 6 wins. They're going to be at least a wild card team, 9-10 wins. Unless you resign, or unless you agree with some Seattle content creator or YouTuber or Twitter guy who had the Niners only winning 6.5 games next season, which I think is ridiculous. But I agree that this team will always be competitive as long as those guys are in charge. But I want to say that things like last year was really unfortunate, because I mean, damn it, man. Like when I was watching that NFC Championship game, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as he went down and he wasn't able to play, Brock, I said to myself, it's over. It's done. We're done. And we're not winning with our 5th quarterback of the season or whatever the situation was. I just and it sucked because we were like so perfectly made with Brock at quarterback. I'm not saying Trey can't become that guy who couldn't, but the offense was humming. And I'm not saying we would have went toe to toe with Kansas City, but like, I think we could have scored some points on that defense. The way Brock moves, he's not a sitting duck like Jimmy Garoppolo. And it was just unfortunate, but I really think that this year, if health is really good and we have a chance to keep things together as far as health goes, I think there's a good chance the Niners will be right back in the title game this year. But they have to win it. There's no excuse. If everything's healthy, we're healthy across the board. It's make or break, man. You got to do it. Like I said, make or break as far as like got to do it. But I don't think it's make or break is like it's done after this year. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. It's just that, you talk about guys leaving. I think the way they just draft and do things via free agency, they're real good at plugging holes. So
no, they are.
There will be some sustainability throughout the years. There will be drop off. Like anytime, like if Trent Williams retires, you're not going to replace him with an equal level player. It's just not going to happen, right? But I think they'll find someone just to like, okay, Let's bring this guy along. We can blue chip him something, and just keep the car driving. That's
Keep
what
the
I think.
engine revving, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Brian. I know you want to jump in there.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I love it's like I don't want to see the window close yet either, but we do have to think, players do get older. We do have Kittle on the team. This is his 7th year going, because we drafted him in 2007. Juice, we traded for him. So there are some key players that are getting older. We've had Armstead on the team longer than this current regime has been here. So, we do have some players that are getting older. And then Bosa, he's really good, but he's getting older too. So it is, we have to get there to, the end of the race. We need to win it. And at this point, healthy, broken, dragging our legs, whatever we got to do, we got to host. We got to put it up. And
I like that.
It's really interesting because if we would have got there last year with Brock Purdy, the team did have a swag about themselves, a confidence. So, I really do think, we got a good chance. But for just this current roster, because it's going to be like what happened with the 2012 or 2013 roster. We had a current roster. They are great. We just didn't get it done with them. So I think that's where this the pressure is going to start getting hotter and hotter for this team, I believe.
Agreed. Speaking of pressure, quarterback. It's always the big topic in San Francisco 49er land since Steve Young retired. Seems like the Niners can't ever find a guy that can last longer than a couple of years or injuries or something. But talk is, and I was listening to Matt Barrows, the other Matt. He's pretty damn good too. He was talking on this morning on KNBR, and he says he doesn't have word, but he's pretty optimistic that Brock is ahead of schedule. And if everything goes as planned and he stays healthy, the plan is that he will be the starting quarterback week 1 of the 2023 season. Whether any of us agree with that or not, we knew. Oh, go right ahead, Ty.
No, wait. I simply want to ask,
where
did he get that information from? Did he say who he spoke to?
He was pontificating. So that's why I said.
Then I got the same job as Matt Burrows right now, and I'm pontificating that
me and you have talked about this before.
Quarterback week 1. Until someone speaks to Kyle Shanahan.
Right. I know.
I don't want to hear nothing from nobody.
Okay, well then I'll put it to you like this then. I'll redirect this for you guys. If all things are fair, and I know nothing's fair, if he goes according to plan, Brian's shaking his head. I'm gonna go to I don't know who I should go to first.
I agree.
if all things are fair, who starts week 1, Bryant?
If
Brian's gonna get slammed for this one.
If all things are fair, then it's going to either be Sam Darnold or Trey Lance that starts. Brock Purdy, if everything's fair, then we let Brock Purdy come into the season healthy and getting reps. I don't think he plays any preseason. I don't think the timetable says that he'll be ready. So if everything's fair and the Niners aren't trying to just rush him out there and they're just focused on one player, then it will be fair. There will be an open competition. I even think Brandon Allen has a chance, but I'm not going to, outweigh him over Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy, Trey Lance. The thing with Brandon Allen is he is a known backup. We know he's a backup. Sam Darnold and Trey Lance are legitimate, hopefully, starters. We've seen it with Sam Darnold, and Trey needs a chance, and we all want to see that. So if everything's fair, those two guys will be back and forth for quarterback competition. That's what my thoughts are.
Let me jump in here real quick just to throw out the timetable. So the timetable for Brock, meaning without him being rushed, just the presumed timetable would be for him to return on August 21st. Now that is immediately after our second preseason game and 3 weeks before the start of the season. So, and when he's cleared, they said he would be cleared 100% there wouldn't be any drawbacks. He can go practice fully. So that's 3 weeks of full training camp practice that he would have. So just keep that in mind. Go ahead, David.
Is that long enough to have a full-on quarterback competition, though? You know, I honestly don't think it is. And when it comes to Trey Lance versus 6 Inch Sam, you know, Trey Lance knows the offense. 6 Inch Sam is still, you know, learning it, and hopefully he's overseeing ghosts. You know, I'll stop calling him 6 Inch Sam when he, you know, we know he's done with that. But Brock Purdy, I don't want to see the kid rush back. You know, and August 21st is a totally everything goes right, you know, timeline. But is he in football shape at that point? You know. So that's my main concern with rushing him back for week 1 is getting him fully in football shape. You know, giving the ball the beans with his arm. You know, will he be able to do all that by week 1? But you know, I'm going to give him credit though. He went and got a second opinion. So I honestly don't think he's going to let them rush him back if that's the case.
Agreed. I agree with that totally. Just based on what you said and what he did leading up to the surgery. He was not rushed or pushed in any way, shape, or form. He took time, did what the doctor said would be the right thing to do, and went so accordingly. So, like when a lot of people always throw out, you know, he's ahead of schedule to coming back. I don't think he'll rush that at all. He'll come back at his own pace when he's ready and when the doctors say, hey, you are ready. Yep. So I'm on board with you there.
The thing with me, again, I respectfully kind of disagree.
He's 2 for 2.
I'm 2 for 2. No, because you know when the guy was reporting that, you know, it's just based on, he was going based on the information that was put out apparently to him into the other media as far as if Brock is physically on pace for what the Niners have laid out as far as benchmarks for recovery. He's been throwing for since early June, right? And again, these are reports. You're right, Ty. We gotta enough with the reports. Let's just get down to like brass tacks and start seeing what's up, what's what when the real people talk and we get reports and all that stuff. But I mean, he's been throwing, and it just he looks okay. I guess he looks good. You could say the same thing, and I'm going to transition into Trey right now. Trey, there's both of them have been putting out a lot of stuff like from their camp to kind of, I'm not say push a narrative, but pretty much say like, hey, this guy's on it. You know, this guy's been putting in work. And if you look at Trey Lance's camp with Christensen, I mean, I'm not big on clips and using clips to make decisions on what I think is happening with a guy, but he looks cleaner and is quicker in his delivery. But like at the same time, as I say that, we won't know until the bullets start flying when the helmets come on in practice. So any of you guys can take that. If you could take one side of it or the other, but like, do you guys agree that like until everything is for real and the helmets come on and there's a pass rush, that all this stuff that we've been hearing about either guy is just pontification?
I'll jump in here because I agree with you 1,000%. You know, it's all just speculative at this point, right? They're taking just clips of what you saw in OTAs and these guys' private practices, and they're like, oh man, he looks great. And heck, I could go out there in my shorts and my t-shirt and look great for, you know, a 10-second video.
You're in pretty damn good shape. I think you could.
Yeah, I try to keep it together.
I might keel over if they put me on video. I'll be like, what just happened? Like the whole Peter Griffin, like I would be planted into the ground.
With video editing, you can make a guy look real good, right? But
right.
That's what camp is for. When the bullets start flying, when that number one defense gets out there and they're jawing at you and coming at you, how do you really look? And we won't know anything until these upcoming weeks. So that'll be the true litmus test. And, we'll hear directly from Kyle what he thinks.
Go ahead, David. What do you think?
Unmute yourself.
All right, I'm gonna jump in. David's having a second. So it's one of those things. It's like you have players and they're ready, and we got to go. We got to go. And you look at are they going to be ready or not? Well, everybody wants to be ready. They don't want to lose their position. And if Brock Purdy does start and he comes out shaky, then people are going to be like, oh, right. So it's almost like it is beneficial for him just to sit back and say, let me heal my elbow. And when you guys need me like you did last year, I'm going to come up and let Trey get his start. And, if he goes all the way, he goes all the way, and no one's going to be mad, right? When you're winning, no one's mad. It's when you start losing. So again, it's like we play Pittsburgh on the road. I know nobody wants to hear it, but Pittsburgh, on the road, that's going to be a tough game. Rookie quarterback against, you can, really argue rookie quarterback, so yeah, we just got to stay confident. And, I've seen some people in the chat, shout out to the chat. Is it fair to rush Brock Purdy back? I don't know. Like, is it fair? He's a football player. If he puts the helmet on and he's cleared and he says he's ready to go, well, how many days does he need? How many hours of practice time does any football player really need to be like, I'm ready? Because like we seen Jimmy just walk in, after, being on our team for a couple of weeks, and I don't know the playbook. I don't need that, and then, rips off 5 wins. So what kind of, what are we looking at? We're looking at somebody who wants to operate the playbook, know Kyle Shanahan's system. And if he is the guy and he doesn't know Kyle Shanahan's system, then Kyle has to know some kind of verbiage, some way to break down the play to him so he can tell the other guys in the huddle who already know the playbook. So, yeah, a lot of good points, because like if Sam Darnold doesn't know the words and he doesn't know he's not going to get that opportunity, even if he has the bigger arm, because Kyle wants to be able to say, hey, go do this, and play him like he's Madden. So that's my thoughts. David?
Well, my thoughts are, number one, Brock Purdy doesn't need to be rushed back. Number two, everyone just, all these guys just have speculation at this point. Who's going to start, who's not. And you're right, Aaron, when it comes down to it, we haven't seen pads on these guys. We haven't seen pads. We haven't seen a pass rush. We haven't seen anyone get in their face to see what's going on. I'm very happy about Trey Lance working with, Christensen, the quarterback's coach, though.
Same.
And I'm sure you guys remember when he was being interviewed and they asked, so, who referred Trey Lance to you? And he was like, all hush hush about it. He wouldn't say. I'm honestly thinking James Richard Garoppolo did, because that's his QB coach too.
James Richard Garoppolo. Can't get that name out of my mind.
Yeah. Well, it was important that
he's not,
Trey reached
Jimmy
out to him on his own, but I'm sure Trey asked around and was like, yo, who can I go to? So that's the real question. But yeah, you might be right, because we know him and Jimmy had a good relationship.
Yeah, I look at it like, well, Jimmy's kind of a term of endearment, and we ain't homies anymore, so it's James Richard Garoppolo now.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yo, James.
We're not on first. Well, actually, we are on first name basis. I was going to say we weren't, but we kind of are still. I'll say that I want to speak on and kind of expand on Tony's Culp's comment. She says the great debate that is Lance hasn't been given a chance. The only way to find out the team needs to move to the next guy is to throw Trey back out there and let's see what he can do. Listen, I agree. If Brock isn't where he needs to be and the Niners think they're rushing him back, and Trey starts week 1 and Trey goes 5-6-0, you don't give that job back to Purdy. That's Trey's job. Yep. And now you have a really freaking good backup. And that's the way that for me, for all the people that say like, oh, Aaron, you're kind of pro Purdy, or you're kind of this, you're kind of that. Listen, I'm pro Niners winning. I'm almost 44 years old. I haven't seen a Super Bowl since I was 15, or a Super Bowl victory since I was 15. I just want what's best for the team. I'm not a guy who's camp this or camp that. If you were to put me in a corner and say, who you have more confidence in? Of course it's Brock. Brock's put more out there on tape. That's it. That's the only reason. It's not because of anything else, whatever narrative people want to push to cause division within the fan base. My whole thing is, if Trey gets out there and he's balling, that's his job. And now they know that they made the right decision. So in a way, if some 49er fans are honest with themselves, the best decision would be, hey, Brock, you're not quite there yet. We're not going to push you back. The kid starts, I call him a kid because I'm old, so he's a kid to me, but he's a grown man. I respect him. But like, if he goes out there and balls, the best case scenario for the 49ers, and then they have a really good backup. And, you know, I want him to succeed, Trey Lance. I really, really do. I want it to be here in San Francisco. I don't want him to go somewhere else and then shove it in our face and kill us and make us look really stupid as an organization. So, but that's me kind of jumping off of Tony's comment.
I have to agree with you though. I mean, I would hate to see him go somewhere else, do fantastic, and then it's like egg on our face, you know. It'd really be egg on Kyle Lynch's face, to be honest with you, because they should have done the right thing and, you know, gave him a chance. But at this point, he's working on his craft. You know, he's working on the short to mid-range throws. He's working on his mechanics. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is fantastic to hear. But I need to see him put it together like in a game situation. You know, is he going to go back to his old mechanics if he's in a panic style, get the throw out right now, I'm about to get hit? You know, that I want to see him do these new mechanics and those short and the mid-range throws in a situation like that. Someone in his face.
Yeah, because Nick Bosa can definitely speed up that clock. And Hargrave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. And Armstead and whoever the other end's going to be. You guys have any more on this, or do you want to jump ahead to the next topic?
Yeah, let's move. Let's keep moving.
All right. So camp starts officially tomorrow, but they don't put the pads on, I think, until the day after. Kyle and John talk to the media tomorrow at 11 p.m. Pacific time, which is, 2 my time. What questions do you guys want answered? I'm going to start with Bryant.
What answers do I want answered by the 49ers? Let's see. What are we going to do? I want the Niners to come out and tell us what they plan on doing to make this season. It's been 29 years. What are they doing? You can't guarantee a victory, but, it worked for Joe Namath, right? So I want to see one of them come out and say, we're winning the Super Bowl this year. It's going to happen. Hold me to it. And if they don't win it, then I want to hear a good reason why they didn't win it, because we want to see it. We got a good team. We got almost number one position at almost every player. Every player is like, the Pro Bowl player or all pro, except quarterback. So don't tell me that quarterback's the reason that this team isn't winning the Super Bowl when we go out and get a kicker who can kick 70 yards. I mean, so I want to see, my next question would be is how comfortable are you with Jake Moody? Are you going to let him try a long field goal in preseason? So those would be my questions.
Bye.
Yeah, for me, I'm not even talking to John Lynch. Like, we've heard enough of your ramble all off season. I don't want to hear golf terms anymore. I don't want to hear anything else. I'm talking directly to Kyle.
Okay.
Like, John could leave the room for all I care. I'm talking directly to Kyle. And I want to know, Kyle, philosophy. What's going on with this team? Are you changing anything philosophy-wise from quarterback to quarterback? I don't care who it is, but from quarterback to quarterback, are you keeping your base offense the same? Or do you think you're going to be changing things up? What do you see behind BA and Debo? Who do you see your guys behind you to make that big step, right? What do you see happening at the tight end position? Things like that. Things that matter. Yep. That's what I want to know.
David?
I want to see someone actually ask them what's their definition of a successful season. I would love to see that asked. But when it
Love to
comes to
ask
camp,
Grant that one.
oh yeah. I don't know if I
It's
have
gotta
him
be
on Twitter or
Lombardi.
not. I should try to poke and prod there. But I want to see them ask like the offensive line, or are they giving, starting positions to people, or are they having an open competition? Because that's something I've been wanting to see. Open competition every season. I mean, we all know Trent Williams is going to win that spot. Aaron Banks, he's better than the Madden rating. I'll say that right now. But center and right tackle are kind of question marks in my opinion. I honestly think there's 2-3 players currently on the roster that could win that spot. And like we don't know what happened with Nick Zakel. So I want to hear someone ask, what do you guys think about the O-line, competition? Is there anyone that anyone you guys are looking at that you've seen already that has taken that step?
Hold up, can we talk about Rich's comment real quick?
Ooh,
Are you muted? What'd you say, Aaron?
Yeah, I was going to read it actually.
Go ahead. Jump in there.
That it is normal for a QB in his early years to seek their own QB trainer. Regardless, I think it shows seriousness and drive a franchise QB should have. Rich, first of all, thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. It's been a long time, and I 100% agree. What was kind? I don't want to start a whole national debate here. One of the things that sometimes got to me a little bit about Kaepernick is where I didn't, and maybe this is just me. I didn't always see kind of this kind, the working on the craft in the offseason. I know towards when things kind of fell through with the franchise and he started doing some stuff. I think that might have been when he got injured and came back and he was kind of thin and he had to start throwing again and stuff. But like the one thing I will say, especially with guys, I mean, Tom Brady's had a quarterback coach. All the best guys seem to have a guy that they go to keep them in tip-top shape. So yeah, I 100% agree, especially in his formative years as a quarterback. His craft and his just repetitive motions should be the most important thing. It's the stuff that is supposed to come to you naturally without thinking. Well, sometimes you have to change what comes to you naturally because with a guy like Trey, it's to rip it. And, he's got some kind of weird mechanics and he's got to kind of become more of a traditional, in his own way, more of a traditional quarterback. So yeah, he's definitely been putting in the work. I agree with that. As far as what I would want to ask them, how is the offense approach going to change with the new defensive coordinator? If he's supposedly going to be more aggressive, he's going to be blitzing a lot more. He's going to play more man-to-man coverage. Does that change the way you play offense? I mean, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not really thinking too much through. And how confident are you in the depth in the secondary? That's one area that the Niners, beyond their starting corners, it's a little scary. You got Oliver in the slot, and then now we have Luter on the, he's on the pup list and stuff. It's like, it's a little worrisome if one of those guys goes down, like Travarius Ward. But yeah, that's kind of where I am at that. Anyone else? Oop.
Yeah, all good questions. I agree with you on the cornerback depth because aside from Samuel Womack III,
and we always forget about him, right?
he's like I didn't forget about him. I like that guy, but it's like, okay, who's behind that?
Yeah.
And we've seen how our corners, unfortunately, knock on wood, they can go down. So it's like, all right, how are we looking depth wise? Who's back there? So that's a very good question, and I'd like to see that.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think it's interesting. I know a lot of people are, they had their opinions. Do we go for Fangio or do we go for, Steve Wilkes, right? And it's really interesting that we went with Steve Wilkes because, yes, he does emphasize on the cornerbacks and he did bring some players over. And, so there's definitely like going to be some aggressiveness and there's going to be some emphasis on those cornerbacks, right? But when you have the opportunity to get the number one defensive coach and you don't do it because he's going to change things, maybe he's going to change things for the better. Maybe, he's going to tell you, this isn't really my take. I heard it and I kind of agree with it. I believe this was kind of like Grant's. But if you have the best defensive coach and he does change things a little bit and it's for a better, but when you're trying to keep things in-house or stay the same because this is my mentality, I want to control it. I don't know if that's the best thing that Kyle needs. Does Kyle need a bunch of yes guys, or does Kyle need somebody who's going to say, hey, this is going to knock your offense for a loop and I can beat your offense. So you go back into the office and you come up with a game scheme that's going to beat me. And I don't think that's what Kyle wants. I don't think he wants to be the guy sitting there with somebody smarter at the table. I could be wrong, but the way it works for me, I believe, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe you're an intelligent person, then you can act like it, right? Well, I believe I'm an intelligent person and I want to put myself around intelligent people like you guys. We can bounce ideas off. We can talk, right? We can communicate. Maybe I might not know everything about the situation, but by talking and telling you guys my feelings, I get your thoughts because you're going to come back and tell me and you can understand where I'm coming from. Maybe my thoughts will change. Maybe they'll stay the same. But just again, I think kind of, Fangio not being our defensive coordinator, that might be better for our cornerbacks, but it kind of is weird how we just keep getting injured. And it doesn't matter if it's cornerbacks or if it's like Fred Warner, wasn't it the Eagle game last year? It was one of the first plays. He went down. I thought
he went down. Yeah.
I thought that was the game before Purdy even got hurt and stuff. Or so for me, it's just like that injury bug. We somehow, for whatever reason, we still have those hockey players, those hockey coaches, training staff.
Right.
So that's kind of
go ahead. Sorry. I agree with you with the hockey.
That's my thoughts. It's like, why do we
What's
have
with the hockey guys? Exactly. I real quick want to say what's up to Luke Luna. He's an old friend of the channel. He's a tattoo artist. He does awesome work. He's a ginger like myself, so he's always man close to my heart. He says I'm tattooing, but what is up, Aaron and McNiner? What is up, my man? Steve-O says this show sucks. Can we start arguing about QB? No. At least for the first episode, we're gonna be really fake, and we're all gonna get along.
Exactly.
I'm gonna jump on two comments here, and not just because it's Brian's wife, but she has a good one. She said our offense has been carried by our defense for many years. I see the success of the defense only builds the confidence in our offense and helps bring out the best. Yeah, because that defense, our offense is going against it in practice. So yeah, it's everybody helps everybody out. So another great point from Tony.
To counter what Brian said about hiring Fangio, it's like we have the number one defense. So how do you get better than number one? Right?
Yeah.
Plus, but Steve Wilkes is no like geek off the street. Like,
he's damn good.
Exactly. That's a guy that's worth his salt. And many people overlook how hard it is to transition from 4-3 to 3-4. To get those three guys up front that can stack and two gap and hold the line, to let those four guys around them manipulate and do things, it takes time. And it's like, dude, we always talk about Super Bowl window. We just touched on it. Do we want to take that time to retool that whole defensive front? No. That's already a nightmare just to fit what this coach wants to do. It's like, okay, why don't we bring in a coach that can work with these pieces and bring something more to the table?
Yeah, because it would have been a 3-4 defense. We'd have to switch. We would have to go back.
We'd have to retool our whole.
And we don't have a 3-4 personnel really. We don't look at our team.
We don't.
No.
Well, I agree, but Fangio does run a 3-4, 4-3 hybrid. He does go back and forth. And you got to kind of look at, like Saleh. Saleh left, and we all thought we were going to take a step back with D'Amico. And we just kept the same thing going. I mean, I know it's a scheme and stuff, but I do think we would have been able to adjust. It might have taken us a couple games, but we always start out slow. But I think that coach, again, Ty, you make the best point. We're already the number one defense. What could we go from there? Super Bowl winners. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't defense's fault.
No.
You can't say it's the defense's fault that we haven't got that Lombardi. It's been on the other side of the football that we've had a shortcoming.
There is no such thing in this world as an absolute, except for one thing, and that is I am not a Jimmy Stan. Hell
Yeah,
to the no. He
you're
might
off
be
on that one,
pretty.
Tommy.
He might be pretty, and I'll say that I'm confident in my heterosexuality, but that's pretty much it. That's it. Like the ladies are gonna miss his chin. I'm sure all of them are crying in a corner, but I'm not gonna miss just being frustrated and thinking every game he's gonna throw a game tilting interception that's gonna want me to put my fist through the television. And then him smiling on the sideline after it happened. That was the thing that used to drive me like, do you even care? Like, what is that? I want to see a guy like Tom Brady or a quarterback that like Dan Marino that's just like he's so purple, it looks like he's gonna pass out. That's what I want to see on the sideline. Okay. I'm an old school guy. I have a temper. I want to see somebody freaking out, raging out on the sideline. I don't want you to be calm and smiling like everything's cool, Oh, we got a great defense. Nah. So no, I am not a Jimmy Stan. Let's kick it over to the other really big elephant in the room. That's Nick Bosa's contract. We've heard nothing. We've heard zilch, which is kind of a good thing. Because sometimes when you hear leaks that agents come out with stuff and all of a sudden you got a guy that doesn't want to report. I'm going to start with Ty. What's your feeling money-wise and when it gets done? Do you think it's on the verge of the first practice on the 26th or maybe a little bit before? What's your mentals on that one?
To me, this is the old adage of no news is good news.
Right.
The Bosas are about their business.
Yep.
Right?
They get their money.
Exactly. You don't hear about them working out. They just show up looking like freaking Greek gods, right?
Yep.
You don't hear about them negotiating their contracts. They just show up with a big contract.
Yep.
This is what they do. So on that note, I think they're in the background just working on it right now. You'll probably see Nick show up because he's a professional. And it wouldn't surprise me to see the contract get done like tomorrow night. And he'll be at practice the next day. Right? Everybody will be talking, Nick Bosa showed up, but his contract isn't done, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, tomorrow, like 5:15 p.m., you'll hear the contract is done. Everyone will go nuts. And Bosa will be at camp practicing the next day.
That would be the most optimal situation. Yeah. David or Bryant, go ahead.
I honestly think Bosa will get paid within the next 3 days. And when it comes to money, that's kind of that's kind of a 49er problem, The man should command like Aaron Donald plus money. But we'll see how all that works out. Hopefully he takes a little bit of a hometown discount to keep the gang together. That's all I can hope for there. But like Ty said, the man's a professional. He'll show up while they're negotiating, and he will still practice. He'll still suit up. We're not going to hear about him going away. That's exactly what his brother did, if I remember right. So, but yeah, the man's going to get paid probably 30+ million a season.
Yeah, I can see it around that. I left that part out. That $31-32 million annual range. He'll be up there.
He ain't going nowhere. This dude's a Niner for life. Y'all can book it. Bryant?
Oh, I think, there's some good points there. Like, big brothers, sometimes they don't know what they're doing at the time. I'm the big brother. So, I've made a lot of mistakes, and hopefully my younger brothers have been able to learn from them. So like with, you touching on big bear, right? Big brother bear, what we like to call him, because we got little bear, right? So you got him and he does something, and then maybe his dad's like, maybe that's not the right way to do it. Or maybe his mom and dad were talking in the background and, but little Bosa heard it and it's like, or maybe he just formed his own thoughts and it's like, I'm not going to do it that way. So I see him showing up to practice. I see him standing on the sidelines like he normally does and practicing by himself, doing it like 110, percent out of, above and beyond everyone else on the field, but no one's practicing with him. He's still doing it all on his own. And I really I take this from Jason Hurley, the cap, 49ers cap. He threw out the number 35 to 40 million. That's what he thinks Bosa's making a year. I'm gonna stick with him. I'm riding a dime with Jason. 35 to 40 million. I think the Niners are paying Bosa because, Aaron, you just said it. We don't want him going anywhere. He's a Niner for life. You pay the man, he's happy, and guess what? We're going, right? The
edge rushers don't grow on trees, man.
They don't.
Elite edge rushers are a dime a dozen. When you have one, like, when like guys come up on free agency and we're all like, yeah, man, the Niners, that would be awesome. And then they get re-signed within like the beginning of training, in the beginning of free agency period. No team worth their weight in gold or just worth their franchise itself would give up on an edge rusher that's elite. You just don't. It's so hard. And if you have two, it's even better. Like the Niners, and I want to transition into this after I give kind of my thoughts on the money part. I think he gets whatever he wants as far as I think the Niners give him close to the $35 million mark. I'm thinking somewhere between 33.5 million and 34 million per season. And I think he is signed probably on the eve of the first practice, but you won't see him he won't be practicing on the field. He'll be on the side. You don't put that man on the field till the helmets come on. You leave him alone. You let him, pose for the ladies with all his muscles and show how giant his quads are and looking all fancy dancy in his workout pants. Like, you do that, let him do all that for a while. Keep him nice and insulated on the sideline until it's time. And man, I can't wait. I guess the question that was brought up earlier in the chat that I want to talk to, David, have you said anything? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, you talked about Bosa. Yeah.
The question that was up in the chat earlier was, we were talking about DBs and how we think you think that might be one of the areas of concern. The comment was like our defensive line after Bosa, as far as edge, is kind of scary. I had this question for every guest that I had on last week, and I'm gonna give it to you guys. Are you not upset, but are you concerned that the Niners didn't go try to make a move for a guy on the free agency market, even like a Justin Houston, someone who's a legit starter across from Bosa? Or are you okay with the young guys like Austin Bryant, Drake Jackson, Clellan Ferrell, maybe Beal if he actually makes the field this year? And I'm sure I'm probably missing somebody else, but I'm worried. I am. The Niners have three legit guys in their defensive line, and then it's just a bunch of question marks, especially that opposite edge. Anybody can go.
I think it's very important. You go back to the Harbaugh days when we had the Cowboy and we had Aaron. I'm so sorry, Alden Smith.
Yep,
Alden Smith, and that was just great. Boom, one guy on the other side, the other guy's going. It was just a tag team. But then the Smith brothers. And it's just so. We need a Bosa. We need another Bosa. And I like what Damian said up here. Bring Joey Bosa to San Francisco. I would do it. I don't know what would it cost to get him here, but I would do it. But yes, I definitely think we need somebody on the side. But I think what they're trying to do right now is see what Drake Jackson can be, because last year they did have a lot of belief in him. And, just sometimes it just doesn't work out. Maybe the training staff didn't work out or scout him right, but he didn't come into shape the way we were hoping him to be in shape. Now he's bigger, he's stronger. They say he's really a beast. So I just want to see him put it together on the field. And then there's other players, like you mentioned, Austin Bryant. He could be a game changer. And then people's throwing it around too. Maybe Armstead could get kicked out to the outside, maybe for some package deals and maybe make some noise. So I would definitely be interested to see some different combinations. So am I upset that they didn't go get, somebody like Bosa? Yeah. I think it'd be kind of neat to see 9 and 7 on the same field, Bosa on the back of the jersey, but right now I guess we're going to just trust the process and see what they do, because we'll see. Like, I like the guy with the name Bryant. He sounds like he'll be a good player. So
I actually like Drake Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, he played 15% of the defensive snaps last year, had 3 sacks and 8 batted balls, which was among the league leaders.
That's true.
So, here he is, a little bulked up, in better shape. More than likely going to be playing anywhere from 30 to 45% of the snaps, and hopefully those numbers will balloon with the percentage. But when it comes to Cleveland Farrell and Austin Bryant, Kasarik will work his magic, and they won't be beasts, but they're going to be above average.
I guess my whole thing is that I just, I don't know, like, I don't like to have question marks on my team. Like, I want to have, especially with a Super Bowl team that's, we call ourselves, some fan bases might disagree, but like, yeah, you guys are a Super Bowl team and your quarterback position or whatever. But like, I don't know. And I just look across, I don't want to have a question mark on that particular position. But maybe the Niners, they're in the building every day. We're not. I'm just a fan. I'm not a beat writer. I'm not a famous YouTuber. I'm just a mid-carder. But maybe they know stuff that we don't. Maybe they have already something in mind that they want to do. They're going to, like you guys say, they're going to trust the process. If guys are not kind of up to snuff, they might bring somebody in. My whole thing was to always is when they bring in like Doomerville, you bring in a guy to kind of coach and be a little bit more mentor, but also get some sacks. Say if you brought in Justin Houston for $5, $6, $7 million deal, right? You plug him in as a starter, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to share reps and eventually give up reps to Drake Jackson. You make Drake Jackson kind of almost have to try to beat him out, and get the best out of him. Sometimes I think when you hand guys positions, sometimes you don't get the best out of them, and that's just me. That's how I think.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with reality. But I just wish there was a little bit more of a concrete guy on the other end. But I've talked to Raj, I've talked to Ted, I've talked to you guys, other Niners content creators. They didn't make a move, so maybe they see something we don't. So I guess we're just going to have to, at least me, I'm going to have to just stop complaining about it because nothing's going to change.
We saw Drake Jackson last year. He flashed. He looked damn good.
He did.
Right?
In a short window. Yeah, he did.
In a short window. But just like all rookies do, they hit a wall at some point. And he hit his wall. And the hitting the wall thing, I say this a lot. People act like he fell off the face of the earth. He played in that Raiders game week 17. He caught the interception that got batted in the air. He got pressure on Stidham. He just didn't get home like a lot of our defensive linemen did. None of them got home, but they got pressure on him. He was part of that. So it's not like he just completely fell off the face of the earth. He was out there. The coaches asked him to do some things in the offseason. He did all of them. Yep. And he's come in looking great. So in the building, they have to believe that this young man can take a step this season and the following season and be something, because everyone says he's a freak of nature.
He's a big dude.
He's got bend. He's a big dude. You can put him inside, outside. He's crazy. We saw him in that preseason game, like track down Jordan Love, had Jordan just throwing it up there like, oh, I got to get rid of this because this dude is on me. Right? If he puts that together with some strength and some know-how, he's going to be scary. And I believe behind that, Chris Kasarik brought in some guys that he can work with. And we know Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant. Those were Chris Kasarik picks. Like, bring me that guy because he can do this and this. Or bring me Austin Bryant because he's a pure speed rusher. I can use him in this way. And it'll be a rotation depending on the situation. So I think we'll be fine. I think Drake will take a step. I don't think he'll solidify that spot till maybe later in the season when he really like gets going and understands what he's doing. But we'll be fine there. And just think about the 3 of the 4 linemen that we got there are a handful. So teams got to worry about that. So that other guy, I think we'll be fine with. And I think that'll be Drake Jackson. I agree with what David said. because he did flash and he's got tons of potential. And we saw some of it already.
Going on, David Corona. What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Amy and Lee. Man. Full house in here tonight.
In the
Anything
house.
else from anybody?
Shout out to everybody here. We got like 23 people watching. I mean, this is pretty fun.
Right?
Yeah, I have 30 people in here. That's for it's nice. We all appreciate the company, believe me. It's nice to do something and have a couple people watching, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. How much longer you guys got? You want to wrap it up at about an hour? Can you go a little longer? What's Go ahead.
I'm
go
okay
ahead.
for a little while longer. Yeah.
I can go as long as Ty can go.
Okay.
Wow. Go.
All right.
Like, bye, Aaron.
With the old guy. All right.
Let's see here. So I can't believe I have to talk about this. So there was news coming out that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be cleared. And yes, people, there is going to be a Jimmy Garoppolo reunion with the 49ers and all the guys that love him oh so much. I'm not one of them. They're going to do, I know they're having the practices and, of course, the preseason games. So do you guys really even care? Like, do you, I just brought it up just to chuckle, make everybody chuckle. But, like, honestly, like, really? Like, Kittle's going to be, like, peeing his pajamas waiting to see Jimmy. Like, he's going to be so happy. Anybody have a comment on any of that?
I like Jimmy, and it's not, anything bad, like everybody wins and loses. Sure. I'm not happy that we didn't win the Super Bowl, but I don't hate Jimmy either. But the team feels the same way. I know there's some people that are saying that there's some defensive players that want to take a hit or a shot on Jimmy, but I don't think it's all like malicious like that. Like they want to break his leg or anything. They might want to give him a nice love tap, a little harder than, a love tap. But, hey, you remember me, buddy? I'm still over here, but I don't think it's I think Jimmy, the reason they came back and they flipped and they just acted the way they did is because they kind of got goofy and all gooey over Jimmy. Jimmy's back, and I don't know what he does for him in the locker room. Maybe he gets some, cool places to go hang out with. Maybe, I don't know if he's got to, get some girls. I don't know, guys. I really don't. But there's something about
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like Jimmy seems to be like that cool guy everybody wants to hang out with in the locker room. So, I kind of promised myself I'll never wear the Jimmy Garoppolo jersey again. There's 3 of them in my house. But
you're a better man than me.
Wow.
Tony got one, my daughter Lily got one, and I got one. After he won those 5 games, I was like, hey, and then we went to the Super Bowl. I'm like, all right, this might be our guy. But after he left and stuff, I don't want to put it on. But then today, hearing the news and stuff, I started thinking about it. I'm like, should I wear my gym? No, I ain't wearing that shit again. All right, so it's gonna stay over there. And I'm not somebody that burns jerseys or, does, nasty things or anything like that to anything. So I'll just probably keep it in the back of my closet one day. And if I ever get to meet him or know somewhere, maybe I'll get him signed. But no, I think it was really funny to see him walk up to the Raiders Coliseum today or whatever you want to call it, the Raiders Stadium and the Death Star and say, because you're always listening for, hey, faithful. Or, something like that. But he didn't say that today. So, it was a little weird, maybe a little sad in a little bit way. But then I'm like, let's go. It's a new season. He's no longer here. I told everybody it's not because I like the guy, but I just didn't see the Niners getting away with him, moving from him. The contract, the injury, everything that happened. I started making bets with people. Aaron, I think we had one at one time. Rob Shue. I've asked Jesse Naylor. There's a bunch of people. And, I even made a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Subway t-shirt. And, it was just something funny because it's like, it's just one of those things. It's like he ended up staying on the team because of the price, and if you went to Subway at the time and told him cut Jimmy Garoppolo, they'd give you 10% off. And I did it. I tried it. And the lady started laughing. She gave me her employee discount. So, I mean, it works, so.
Sweet.
Yeah, goodbye, Jimmy.
Nice.
That's all I can say.
Nice.
Brian, I got an idea for the James Richard Garoppolo jerseys. Halloween. Go get like some fake humongous chins and like some wigs.
We'll all wear them. We'll put drag makeup on, look really, really pretty.
I was
Well,
gonna say
if you
get some gauze and like a neck
couple-
thing and go out injured. You just
Well,
be
I'm
an
already-
injured
Oh
I'm
quarterback.
already
yeah, a
injured,
couple of
so
like a fake
that's not
cast
too
on
far
your.
from
Like a
reality.
fake cast, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
a couple-
you know what, Brian, I agree with you. I thought it was weird when he looked into the camera and said Raider Nation or whatever he said. It hit me for a second. I was like, oh wow. I'm so used to seeing him look into the camera and be like, hey, faithful. It threw me for a second. It's amazing what you get used to over the years of you seeing a guy saying the same thing over and over. You know what's funny? I don't think the guys are going to care because remember, they said in the offseason, they never speak to Jimmy. He doesn't respond to their calls or anything. And he was never like part of the Cabo clique. He's just off doing his own thing. So for them, it's going to be like, oh, there's Jimmy again. Hey, what's up? It's going to be fun to see in preseason if they really tee off on him, though. Because, you know, you don't get to hit the quarterback. You never get to hit the quarterback in practice. So it's like, oh, we finally get to hit this guy.
I
Wonder
don't
what
think
it
any of
feels
those.
like
I don't think any of those starters will even be in. So he'll probably
for
just
that first preseason game, right?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of
Yeah.
smiling, a lot of
Yeah.
pitchers on the sideline. Like I said, Kittle's probably going to be losing his mind over it because that's like his best friend forever. Listen, I have no emotional attachment to Jimmy Garoppolo at all. I
Same.
stopped caring about Jimmy when Brock Purdy came in and did what he did last year. I was like, thank you. Finally, we can end this conversation forever. Hello, East Coast Red and Gold Podcast.
What up, Jess?
Up, Jess?
See, I stopped before that.
I have no hate towards him. I just never got the hype. I never got the this weird like love hate this love thing with him. To me he was an underachieving quarterback who was he was underachieving in the way that when I say this, not underachieving, he's a winner, of course. But there was a lot to that, and I hated how the defense always got pushed aside, and all the other guys got pushed aside. Like, yeah, Jimmy just wins. Like, no, the running game and the defense really carried that. Like, Brock Purdy was the first time that you actually saw a quarterback in a long time who actually contributed to the success, where he did some things where like it wasn't all just the defense. Like they were putting 35 points a game up. And I hope Trey does the same thing. I'm gonna try to win Ty back. But Ty doesn't agree with me.
No, I saw some similarities there.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, their game. Yeah, it's the dink and dunk, .com, but yeah. I understand. And I know a lot of people say, I've seen it on Twitter too, where people are like, he's Jimmy 2.0. We'll see if it's fool's gold this year. If he plays, we're going to get our answer real quick.
But the sample size was way too small. We need to see more.
I agree.
More. We need to see development.
I want to see.
We just got to wait and see.
Next step.
Exactly.
It's very interesting because, he did come in 5 games, and then the first 2 games, he got injured the third game in the 2018 season, I believe it was. He went 1-1,
Yeah.
and then we were getting blown out by the Chiefs really bad. And yeah, they started making a little comeback, but I think it was like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter before he got injured. We weren't going to
half.
I'm not sure. I think he got injured like the third or fourth quarter.
I thought it was right before the half. I don't know.
Not the 2018 season. Yeah, but the 2018 season, he went to cut in instead of cutting out, and it was like, okay, people are like, why? Well, to justify or maybe make an answer, he's trying to get a little bit more yardage to, continue to go, again, you can stop the clock and go out of bounds, but maybe he was just trying to show the team, he's a strong guy, and, he can lean into this guy. He used to play linebacker, so maybe he's like, I can take a hit. I can pile through this guy. But then after that hit, and he tore his knee up, the team got quiet. Everybody got their feelings. We started losing a bunch of games because I guess, whatever chemistry he had or whatever, belief he brought to the team, because the team believed in him. They were believing in him, and it's one of those things. Like after he came back, we started out slow a little bit. The 2019 season did start out slow, but we were winning games. And people can say, "Oh, it wasn't Jimmy who was winning." He was converting third downs. It was like those third downs. We were like 3rd and 14 or something, and then he'd go and convert it out of nowhere. And then there was those passes, those like behind the guy passes where he did kind of feel like, he still had that, but you've seen less and less of it from the the 5 games when he first started. So I'm kind of interested in this. My point with Brock Purdy's surgery, he came in and before the injury, he played with like no reserve, basically, no limitations. He went out there and performed, right? So now him coming back with his injury, is he going to play more like jittery? Is he going to be more like how Jimmy was more like, playing more to what Kyle said and not playing loose and playing backyard football and being like, hey, I know you told me to throw it to this guy over here, but that dude back there was open and we just got a touchdown. So go ahead and get mad at me, cuss me out, but we just got a touchdown. I think Jimmy at one point started caring more about Kyle cussing him out, and just there was too many times we seen Kyle cuss him out. So I think that relationship's gone.
Well, when it comes to the jittery G thing, he did get injured multiple times with the Patriots. And then, in 2018, he tore his ACL. 2019, he actually looked, relatively confident. And then, 2020 come around and the high ankle sprain, he got injured again. But then it seemed like 2021, he wasn't comfortable in the pocket. He looked like he was playing scared. So, at that point, he's lost his confidence. He's more worried about getting hit than he is making a play. And that's just a point in time where a starting quarterback isn't a starting quarterback anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing with young quarterbacks. Remember, James Richard Garoppolo was a young quarterback. He came to us having played 1.5 games. That was it. Yeah. Right? So he was a young quarterback. Now, with all young quarterbacks, we want to give them reps, give them time, and we want to see, will they develop and trend upwards? Will they go up or plateau at some point, or will they regress? And with James, we saw him go up and plateau, and then he started to regress a little because we saw he lost complete confidence in his deep ball. Like he see guys running and wouldn't cut it loose. He'll check it down instead. So that's what happened with him. And we need to see which one of these young guys we have once again, which way they will go.
Yeah. I after the safety last year where he stepped out of the back of the end zone, that was it for me. I officially signed off on the Jimmy Garoppolo era. I'm like, how can a guy that's been in the league 8 years make that big of an asinine move? Like how? Like how does that even? I wasn't even mad. I was just like laughing. Like that's just signed off. I'm so happy Brock got a chance just so we could say, okay, we can move on from this guy, and then when we could blame, we'll blame somebody else. I'm sure us Niners fans. Mm-hmm. I know I will. I'm all about blaming people when they don't perform. Because of course I could do better if I played. But what's going on, Beto from Niner Sickness Podcast? What is going on?
I remember when Jimmy did that, though. I do. Sorry, buddy. But I remember when Jimmy did that. And that's the only time I can think of that in all my years of watching football, I was happy for a safety.
Yeah.
So he did throw the
ball. And he made NFL history, though. That has never been done in NFL history. He's destined for the Hall of Shame.
Yeah. I wasn't mad at the safety. Like, he stepped out of bounds. He was trying to buy time, do something. Fine. It was the ball he threw that was just so terrible. Because the running back was blanketed. There was no way on earth he was completing that. Why would you even throw that? That's what threw me off. It's like, oh. And then he came out and was like, yeah, I didn't have the playbook, so, I'm rusty. And that, like, dude, stop.
You just said it was like riding a bike.
Just say you played. Exactly. Just say you played like trash and move on. Oh.
Take the blame for once in your life.
Exactly.
Other news that I saw today, Jalen Hurd got signed by the Patriots.
Yeah.
He's getting a
blast from the
chance. I don't know if
past.
that's going to be anything. He might get cut as soon as he's signed. You know, it might be a couple days. You know, we see something like, "Ooh, somebody got signed," and literally they're cut like 2 days later.
Yep.
We'll see. Maybe he comes. Something happens. I would love for the guy. I feel so bad for him, but at the same time, like I hate to sound insensitive, but once somebody leaves the 49ers who didn't really produce or contribute, I don't remember them. That's just me personally. I'm just old and curmudgeon-y. But on the human being side of it, hope maybe he's able to play for a couple years in the NFL. Maybe he has a comeback story, and then it's not like we didn't give him a fair shot. We can't say, "Oh, the Niners, they made a mistake cutting him." No, they didn't. He was hurting. So we'll see. Hopefully he comes, goes to the Patriots. Maybe he does something. Maybe he contributes. I don't know. I don't see it because I know knee injuries, at least in older age, or they linger. He seems to have a degenerative issue, where his body just can't hold up. He just gets hurt really bad, like with the fractured back and then the knee. So, but we'll see. Props to him for not giving up and giving himself a chance to be signed.
Exactly. Kudos to him. Maybe he makes something of himself. Those running backs. Remember, he's a former running back. They take a beating, but hopefully he's got his body right. He's healthy, and maybe he can do something. So we'll see.
We will see. Any other stuff you guys want to throw out there? You got shows going on the channel? I know East Coast Red and Gold. That's when Thursday.
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday at 8:00. We got Jesse Sapolo on this week.
Oh my God! Really?
Sticking with our theme of offensive linemen.
How do you guys get these guys on? Who do I gotta pay?
You got to talk to Jess. She's a Jersey gal. Those Jersey gals. They're connected.
Come on, Jess. I'm a New Yorker. Help me out.
It's all her. My hat's off to her.
Awesome. So, Jesse Sapolo. He's one of my favorite players.
Yep. Tune in Wednesday, 8:00.
Awesome.
Definitely watching that.
Everybody please go watch that. Support the freaking hell out of that, man. Jesse Sapolo. Oh my God. Man. He's one of my favorite players from the old days.
Yep. Number 61.
Number 61. That's right. He played center and guard.
Right. Yep.
Bryant, anything going on the channel?
For my little channel, we're going to do a show after East Coast Red and Gold. The Mondays with David and McNiner, the interview shows are going to be changed. And right now we're trying to find a good day. So what we're looking at, potentially, things can change, but we're looking at after Wednesdays, later in the evening after East Coast Red and Gold, because I like that show. I'm always there. I like watching it. I like their guests. David's there, so we don't want to step and take things away from other, or lose viewers because you're trying to go there or there. So we were thinking, try to keep the interview show to about an hour. So this Wednesday, again, it could change, but we have the Shaw Show coming on. So if you guys know about 49er Media, who's now the Shaw Show, he'll be coming on this week for our interview. We'll have about an hour show. And then same old. Do some stuff on Friday night with No Border Sports, his call-in show. Pretty funny. If you guys watch the beginning of the show, you might recognize somebody. There's a funny reporter, he tries to do like a weekly update, Saturday Night Live skit. He's not that funny, but he tries. And then, Saturday, Sunday, me and David, I'll be doing the call-in shows. It's basically a call-in show, but I do my morning coffee talk on Saturday and Sunday. So thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, no problem. And I want everybody to know who's watching, this is going to be a rotating thing here. So I won't always be on first takes. I don't know how we're going to go about this as far as if it's going to be on Brian's channel. And then I know, Ty, you have a channel. I know you do a lot more collaborative stuff, but we can talk about
it on there.
Yeah, we can have it on your channel. And David, I know your channel's up and coming. Maybe this will kind of springboard you into feeling more, comfortable doing it. And then we'll go from there. It's just, the way I look at it is, it's like everybody gets a shot to kind of like cross-pollinate. At this point in the game with YouTube, we are, it is what it is. You have your big guys that, suck all the life out of the smaller channels. I'm not even hating. I'm just being honest. And I want people.
It's the truth.
I might have had some things to say on Twitter about 3 months ago, but I'm over my issues now. But all we like is just that if you do come into the chat, just to contribute, ask a question, share, comment, subscribe, tell somebody about it, share it on, your Twitter or community tab if you have one. And the 49er content creating community is humongous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We crush any other fan base as far as just like YouTube content. I've never seen it before. Like, how many channels do you think there are out there? Like 60, 50, 45? Like, it's a lot.
50 plus. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But
I hooked my channel to YouTube actually late last week. I hooked my StreamYard to YouTube, so I'm all set up.
nice.
Awesome.
Nice. So I'll keep you guys contacted on the community tab for where the show is going to be next week. If you follow any of us on Twitter, I'm sure all of us will share. Everybody in this group is really excited and motivated, and I'm not saying that anybody else wasn't in the previous group. I'm just saying, like, this was definitely something behind the scenes where everybody was like, yes, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like in the chat on Twitter, the DM chat, like it wasn't like 6 hours later someone's like, oh wait, what happened? Like, it was definitely like a motivating thing. So it's kind of cool. It's energized me and brought new life into it. So everybody in the chat, thank you so much. Everybody have a great rest of your
Thank you.
week. Go Niners. Let's stay healthy. And we'll see you guys next Monday, and we'll tell you where that's going to be soon enough. Take care, everyone.
All right. See ya.